Today I am going over the first video in my three-part video series on how we can use the power of your mind to create the success that you want in your business and to create a life that you love, and why all of that starts with your own thoughts. And this is why mindfulness is so key. So I just wanted to encourage anyone who is hopping onto this to engage with me in the chat box. I will try to be as responsive as possible. And I also have a lot of information to go through today. So a couple of things just to start off is wherever you are in the world, I know that we are all witnessing some very interesting times when it comes to our current situation with the coronavirus and all of that that surrounds that. So I just wanted to hold that in our awareness and hope that everybody is doing okay, staying safe, staying healthy. And I just wanted to, bring that to our attention, hold that in our awareness, and hope that we are all focusing on the healing and moving forward and doing what we can as a group to create a space for that healing. So that being said, I think it's really a wild and new opportunity for everyone who does do their work online. So I'm happy to be here with you guys online as we move through the importance of mindfulness when you are creating the success and dreams in your life. So for those of you who are on here live, I would love for you to just pop in the chat box where you're from and what are your intentions through this video series, if you'd like to share. Alternatively, where you're from would be super awesome. And let's just get that community going. So waiting for some answers. I think there's a lag. Having a problem there. Okay, cool. So I don't know if I can see you or not. My page is freezing, so that's good. Anyways, hopefully we've got some comments there. Anywho, I'm going to get right to it because I know that you are all excited. I also did have a problem with my emails. All the emails that I sent out did not go to the right place. So that's cool. So for those of you that are here, I'm super excited that you are here, and I'm just going to dive right into it. So if you are here, perhaps you are an entrepreneur or a business owner and you feel like you have hit a plateau in your business and you can't seem to reach that next level of success. Or perhaps you are looking to start your business and you've been thinking about it for a really long time and it still remains an idea because you're not taking action. And perhaps, you have that sense of overwhelm and non-clarity in which you are not sure exactly where to go from here. So that being said, for those of you who have had the opportunity to start your own business and you're doing your thing and maybe you're not getting the sales numbers you want, or you feel like the market isn't big enough, or you've tried a bunch of different things, strategies in your business, and you're not seeing the results, or you simply feel lost or overwhelmed about the next steps, about what the next steps are to take. And so you remain in this current position. And perhaps you've remained in this position for years now, and you finally want to be able to step out and achieve the success that you've been looking for and get those desired results. So I hear you. And when we can overcome these feelings of overwhelm or not understanding where to go next, this will allow us to create the levels of success and income that you want and desire in your life, which will allow you to in turn create that life that you've been dreaming of, and to create a life that you're excited about, waking up to it each morning, and one that you love living. I don't know if any of you saw my video recently that I have on Instagram that is me dancing to a song. I'm on vacation every single day because I love my occupation. I love that song. So anyways, it really hit home for me. And that's what I really want everyone to be able to experience, because it is possible to wake up each and every day and be super excited about what you have ahead of you, and living your life, living that occupation, doing what you were meant to do, and creating waves in this world. So that is what we will be talking about today, and how as entrepreneurs and business owners, or stepping into this role, we want to be able to generate the income that you want, doing something that you love, so that we can have that life that we want, right? Being the creator of our own life and living a life that you love. And in order to overcome, feelings of overwhelm, confusion, or frustration because you're not seeing those shifts that you want, or you're not taking those actions you want to create that life, then, this is why I say mindfulness is such a key part of it. Because what we're going to talk about today is how important it is to harness the power of our mind. It is so powerful. And it's this amazing tool that we have inside of us. So how can we harness all of this power and use our mind instead of allowing our mind to use us, so that we can create the success and life that we are looking for? And so before we dig deeper into what mindfulness is and how we can use it to get the outcomes, that we want in our life, that level of success, perhaps some of you are wondering who the heck I even am. So I am Candace James. I am a next level business and mindset coach for my own mentor, James Wedmore, helping online course creators become successful digital CEOs. I am a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, in other words, NLP, which is the study of the mind and how to create excellence. I am also a mindfulness teacher certified at the University of Toronto in specialized applications of mindfulness meditation. And I have been working in the field of digital marketing for over 10 years. So that is what I do professionally. And I also have been traveling the world. Throughout the last 10 years, I have actually lived in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, Thailand for 5.5 years. I lived in Italy on and off for 2, and I traveled during that time to Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, England, Spain. I spent a month in South Africa, and of course, I enjoyed holidays back home in Canada, where I'm from, to see my family. And so all of this I was able to do by creating a life that was really meant for me. Not a life that I felt I was told I should have, but creating something that really felt genuine and awesome to me, that I could wake up every morning and be super excited about. So, now I live back in Ontario, Canada. I have the opportunity to travel to California for business and coaching several times a year. And I've ultimately created a lifestyle and a freedom to work from anywhere, and to be my own boss, and to create and live a life that I truly love and get excited about. And that's what I want for all of you. So if you have ever thought, I am meant for more than this 9-to-5 job, or, I'm meant for greater success. I don't want to be struggling for money. I don't want to be doing, living my life in that struggle, or working for somebody else. I have something more to give this world. Then you are 100% in that right place. Because I'm going to share with you my own experience over the next 3 videos about how I have created this life for myself, and how I am only where I am today and who I am today due to the practice of mindfulness. And so we're going to get deep into that over the next few videos. So first of all, we're going to go over today what mindfulness actually means, how it's different from mindfulness meditation, and as simple as I can make it, overview of the scientific and neurological backing of these practices and these states that show how we can literally rewire our brain to work for us and with us instead of against us. And of course, how all of that relates to you seeing bigger successes, bigger impact, and more income and freedom in your own business so that you can create a life that you truly love and a life that you don't need a vacation from. I'm not saying that you won't want to take vacations, but you won't feel like, oh my God, I need a vacation, because we've all got one life. And to me, the scariest thing is to get to the end of that life and realize that we never achieved our fullest potential. And so those of you who are still sitting on an idea and haven't taken those steps needed to get going to create what you love, well, now is the time. And for those of you who are already amidst your journey to success and working towards the creation of a life you truly love, kudos to you. And I know that you want to make an even bigger impact and to achieve new levels of success. And now is the time for that too. And so, as a business coach, the number one thing that I see that gets in the way of wild amounts of success are things like no clarity on the direction in which you're headed or the next steps to take, right? You're here and you want to be there, but how do you get from here to there? And what will that entail? Feelings of overwhelm, that leave you in a state of inaction. And often with overwhelm comes confusion. You don't really know what to do. This is all new. It feels overwhelming. Negative self-talk. Feelings or, thinking inside of your head, I'm not good enough for this. I'll never get this. What was I even thinking? I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at blah, blah, blah. Insert a million different things. I should have done this. I could have done that. I'm a failure. I'm stupid. I'm not cut out for this. Da, 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 da. All of these different things that so many of us as entrepreneurs are faced with as we try to get our message out there and as we try to make a bigger impact. So also believing that failure exists. Failure in my world doesn't exist. There are lessons to be learned, but there is no failure. And so when you can reframe that so that instead of thinking you may have failed in the past, you realize that you learned a lesson, that's amazing. Because if you believe that failure is a thing, then you're sure to fail, basically. Being too busy or feeling too busy to get work done, seeing uncertainty as a bad thing. This is what holds a lot of people back too. That fear of the unknown, that fear of uncertainty moving forward. And, when in fact, literally everything is uncertain. So that's a fun way to look at it. And there are a ton more things that we can speak about in this regard, and we will speak about that. And that's a lot of what I dive into in my membership program. But I also want you to notice right now that there is one thing that is common about all of the things I just listed, all of these roadblocks to your success. And these roadblocks are all in your mind. They're all thoughts, right? So I challenge you to think of it this way. I wanted to do an exercise with you guys right now, but my chat is not working for me and I can't refresh because I'll lose you guys. So there is a, we can do it. I won't be able to see it. So it won't be quite as impactful, but basically the practice is, I say a color, red, and I've done this before, so I can just, think of the first thing that comes to your mind when I say red. And whatever that first thing is, I've had some people say love. I've had some people say wine or blood or, hate, whatever we think about that word. We hear a word and we put a meaning on it. And for everyone, it's different. So that's the same thing when it comes to all of these ideas of I'm not good enough, I wasn't made out for this, I'm not going to succeed, etc., etc. Okay, failure is a word, it's a thought in your head. What are you making it mean? Overwhelm, again, something that you are creating a meaning for this. And so when we see that pretty much all of the major roadblocks that stand in our way from success are in our own mind, are in our own thoughts, in our head, well, this is actually really cool, because it means that whatever is standing in our way, we now have 100% responsibility for and control over, and that we can change those things. We have the power to change those, shift those roadblocks, and get them out of the way so that we can move forward with new thoughts, new ideas, new possibilities in what is possible for us. And so I'm actually just going to share my screen here because I've put together a few slides. And this is wonderful to me, this phrase. It says, watch your thoughts for they become words. Watch your words for they become actions. Watch your actions for they become habits. And watch your habits for they become character. And watch your character for that becomes your destiny. And so I really love this quote and find it really important, because basically what it shows is that everything that happens in our life, right? So watch your thoughts, they become words. Your words become actions. Actions become habits. Habits become character. Character becomes your destiny. And so this is just incredibly powerful because what it shows is that when we can learn to control our own thoughts, and when we can take power over our own thoughts, then we actually control our destiny. And so I think that that is just so exciting. And that is where mindfulness really comes into play. Because this is an amazing, how do I get this off? Basically, we have approximately 60,000 thoughts each and every day. And so when we break that down to our waking hours, that's almost one thought per second. And the craziest thing to me is that 95% of those thoughts are repetitive, and 80% of those thoughts are negative. So we are literally spending time, most of our day, thinking negative things on repeat, which is pretty wild when you think about it. And then we wonder why we're stressed, why we're not getting anywhere, and what are these repercussions that we're experiencing because of this. And the reason that this is happening, and I'm not going to go into it super deep, is that our brain, its job is to keep us alive, right? Our brain's job is to keep us alive. And so we have about 40 million pieces of information that are coming in at all times that we are not consciously aware of. And our brain can really perceive about 40 of them. So that's a huge difference. And so in order to keep us alive, our brain is this wildly high-functioning machine that just takes in information, says, is this dangerous? Do I need to be aware of this? And spits it out and says yes or no, yes or no. And so that's why we are so hyper-aware of negative things, right? So of actual situations. So if we are sitting alone at home at nighttime and you hear the sound of the door open, you automatically, oh, that can't be right, right? Your brain thinks about it, processes it, and so quickly that we don't even recognize it. So it's doing this all day, every day. But thankfully, most of us live in a pretty safe place. We're no longer living out in the jungles, in the forest, or what have you. And so we are not really in as much danger as we used to be a long time ago, which is super rad, right? However, our brain hasn't quite caught up with that. And so it's still trying to find negative things. And it gets caught up because there's not actually a lot of negative situations happening in our life. It gets caught up in these negative thoughts. And so it holds on to them and it thinks about them all day. And that's something we go way deeper inside of my program. But for now, I think that's the basis of why we have all of these negative thoughts, because a lot of people think wait, what? Why are we thinking such negative things on repeat all day? And it's our brain really thinking that it's helping us when it's not, okay? And so I'm actually gonna skip to this. And so what happens is when we are in this space where when we are thinking all these negative things all day, our brain actually can't understand the difference between what we're imagining or what we're thinking and what's actually happening right in front of us. Okay, so we're thinking about, oh my gosh, what if my business fails? What if I don't get those sales? What if, blah, 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 blah. And so there's a part of our brain that's responsible for the fight or flight, right? And I'm hoping a lot of you have heard about it. Fight or flight is basically when we get ourselves into a negative situation. Let's say we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, that, you know, our body reacts very quickly, and it puts us into a state where we put out a lot of adrenaline, and so that way, you know, like, you know, that feeling when something happens, like you almost get in a car accident, or maybe you do get in a car accident, and you feel that surge within your body, and you start to maneuver differently. And a lot of people will say, I don't even know what I was doing in that moment. It's like my body took over. And yeah, it's because your body did take over, because your brain was like, whoa, hey, we have to stay alive. So that's the fight or flight response. And so either you bring up that adrenaline to fight something if you have to, or you run away from it. There's also fight, flight, or freeze. So the other option is freezing, if you have to freeze for your safety. So all that being said, that takes place largely in the amygdala, which is a little center of our brain. And that triggers out all this other stuff that's happening. And so going back to all those thoughts that we had, when we're sitting there telling ourselves negative things, or we're worrying about stuff that's going to happen in the future, we're firing off our amygdala. And that is actually essentially shutting down other parts of our brain, because our brain only has so much energy, so much power. We're going to dive super deep into this, not super deep, a lot deeper into this in video 2. I could really geek out on all of this. But essentially what's happening is in the fight or flight mode, we're sending off all of this transmission by our own thoughts. So when we say, oh, I should have done this, I didn't do this well, when you start shaming yourself or thinking that, you know, you could have done better, or you're never going to get this done, all of those things that I mentioned earlier, you're actually firing off your amygdala. And so in the next video, we're actually going to speak specifically to the effects of that on your brain, some of which actually decrease your ability for logic and problem solving. But again, we're going to go a little bit more into that in video number 2, which happens next Tuesday. But right now, I really want you to understand why mindfulness. So mindfulness, for that, and what mindfulness is, because I'm really focused on using mindfulness to create a better, you know, I don't want to say a better chance, but really to increase your chances of being successful. And so, like I said in the previous slide, everything comes down to your thoughts. And so for those of you wondering, what the heck is mindfulness? It is the awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally to the unfolding of experience moment by moment. And this particular definition is actually by Jon Kabat-Zinn. I forgot to put it in there. And he is one of the mindfulness fields, you know, he's one of the biggest, most well-known people, and he's actually one of the first people to help bring mindfulness over to the Western cultures. And so mindfulness, really, that's kind of a lot of words right there. And what you really need to know is that mindfulness is the ability to become aware of your thoughts, so that you can then become aware of that whole chain of reactions that we went over, because everything does start with your thoughts, right? So once you are aware of your thoughts, then you realize how you start to communicate, and how you communicate to yourself and to others, and how those turn into actions. And so mindfulness is a way that we can learn to be very aware of our thoughts. And this is something we're going to go into a little bit later, is that a lot of people think mindfulness and mindfulness meditation are ways to clear your mind completely. And that's just not true. Instead, mindfulness is being aware of the thoughts that come through your mind. So it's a really cool practice that allows you to then create an awareness of who you are, who you're being, and how that's affecting you as you show up for your business. And then most importantly, giving you the basis of how you can then shift. So if you're having thoughts or you're behaving in a way that isn't achieving success for you, then we get to shift it because now we're aware of it. So that's really the cool thing about mindfulness, is that it allows you to become super aware of how you're behaving and whether or not that's actively working for you or against you. Okay. And if we don't harness this awareness, and, this is why I keep saying harness that power of the mind, because the mind moves really quickly. And so when we are able to become aware of those thoughts, slow them down, and be able to act with intention, that's when we take back the control from our mind. Otherwise, if you're sitting there all day worrying about what's going to happen with your business, or that you didn't do this good enough, or blah, 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 then you're actually allowing your mind to control you instead of you using your mind, right? So that's really the basis of what mindfulness is. And a lot of people that I speak to, when I say that I teach mindfulness specifically for success in business and entrepreneurs, a lot of people think that mindfulness is meditation. And that's where I really want to clear that up. And I actually did an IGTV video the other day about this, because mindfulness is not mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is basically an exercise on how to become in a state of mindfulness. And so you'll see here, I have mindfulness is attention, awareness, relationship with self, others, and the world. And mindfulness meditation is like the exercises or the scaffolding that we use to practice and learn how to operate from a state of mindfulness. And this is all just too relevant for me right now in this place where we are feeling all of this fear and all of these anxieties that we're experiencing as a global awareness. And if we can become very aware of what is causing this and how we can shift that, such an important part of mindfulness. But specifically here, I want to ensure that, like, if you were going to go, let's say you wanted to have, you wanted to lose 30 pounds. So you want to lose weight. What would you do? You would, because you want to be skinny and healthy and whatever. So that's the end result, right? And what you do in the meantime, maybe you go to the gym, maybe you lift weights, you eat more vegetables, whatever that is, right? So you can think of those things that you do in a similar fashion to mindfulness meditation. And a lot of different exercises that we can do based in mindfulness and otherwise based in awareness of self. And so there are a bunch of different exercises you can use to reach that state of mindfulness, just like everybody uses a different way to lose weight, whether you do keto diet or whether you go plant-based or, whatever, and your exercise methods, whether you go dancing or you go to the gym. So people use different ways. And that's what I love about teaching mindfulness and helping people get into a state of mindfulness, is that, there are so many different exercises in different ways. So if one of them doesn't feel good for you, I've got a pocket full of a million more, and we can go through all of those too. So that's the really exciting thing, is that the end goal is to be able to be aware of who you are, who you're being, and how you're showing up in life. And how that's affecting your business and your success and every other facet of life, really. So that being said, how do we create that awareness? And I really wanted to touch on a few other things of what mindfulness isn't. A lot of people think mindfulness is woo-woo, hippy-dippy, sort of out there stuff, that it's spiritual or religious, that you have to spend hours each day sitting on a cushion meditating. And I put religious in there again just for, well, that was a mistake, clearing your mind of all thoughts. And this is what a lot of people think, that mindfulness, especially when they're integrating mindfulness with meditation, that it's a way of being that you clear your mind of all thoughts, or that you become aloof, that you don't care about anything because, all these things. And that's exactly what it isn't. And in fact, mindfulness is backed by a lot of neuroscience. So we can actually change the way our brain wires. And we're going to go into that again a little bit in the next video on Tuesday. But we change the way that our mind is wired, our brain is wired, so that we can be more responsive instead of reactive. We have that pause, we can think about what to do. We understand with awareness who we're being, and an ability to trust from within, because when we can slow down our mind and learn to use our mind instead of our mind using us, we have more trust within ourselves about, is this the right thing to do? Because we have that ability to use our mind in the most powerful way. And so that's really exciting as far as I'm concerned. And so I just wanted to, so a little bit about that. And I would love to take everybody through a meditation right now to really understand how powerful our thoughts are and what it means for us on a daily basis if we are not taking back that control from our thoughts. So if you are, wherever you are, if you are able to, if you're not driving or something like that, I would love for you to just relax and close your eyes wherever. If this is safe for you to do so, don't do this again if you're driving. And what I would love for you to do is just take a few deep breaths. And this is really one of the exercises I want to use just to show you, give you an idea of how powerful our thoughts can be. And so just take a couple deep breaths. Release any tension. Now I'd like you to, again, just focus on the in-breath and the out-breath. Just notice it. And then I'd like you to bring to mind a time where you were very angry or frustrated, or you felt that something didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. And so just think about that. And I want you to get deep down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel what you felt in that moment. And now be gentle with yourself. Don't pick something that's too hurtful or upsetting. But I want you to notice how your physiology begins to change. Your heart rate begins to increase. If you were frustrated or angry, perhaps you feel warm or red. You can start to feel the physiology as you really think about that time, that anger, that frustration. Now I want you to take a deep breath out and release that situation. And instead, I'll invite you to bring to mind a time, one of the happiest times of your life that you can think of, when you were just utterly happy. One of the best days of your life, and I want you to dive down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel what you felt in that moment. And notice perhaps that a smile starts to come to your face. Notice how different that feels from when we were thinking of the previous negative event. I'll allow you to just sit there for a moment in that beautiful feeling of one of the happiest moments of your life, and really allow that to permeate through your body and see how that feels now. Now I'll invite you to, when you're ready, just bring your awareness back outside, open your eyes, and notice how powerful it is to actually, just with that thought of the two different situations, how powerful it is to actually change our physiology. And so something that's really cool is if you are having a bad day or you're having a bad moment or something feels bad to you, do that. Bring up one of the happiest moments and allow your physiology inside of your body to feel that happiness. So that again is just a little demonstration of how powerful our thoughts can be and the power of the mind for us to create new situations and possibilities. Um, so that being said, I just wanted to share with you a little bit of how I came to be exactly where I am in this moment. And that is, I wasn't always so sure of where I was going in creating a life that I loved. And, a lot of people over the past, 5 to 10 years have said to me, wow, you are so lucky. Look at your life. You travel all over the place. You do what you want to do. You get to work however you want to work. It's like one time a friend of mine actually said, you're like a weasel. And she meant it with the nicest intentions, but she said, you're like a weasel. Anything that you want, it's like you just get it. And, you're so lucky. And I thought, it isn't maybe just that it lands in my lap, but it's that I'm actually actively pursuing what lights me up inside. And I know for a lot of people, even understanding what lights you up inside can be a challenge. So that's something that I love to cover in my program, is really diving deep into making sure that what we're doing with our life is what lights us up inside. And I'm going to tell you a little story. About 15 years ago, I was working. I had moved to the big city of Toronto, and I was working in a job that, it paid well. It was in the really, fancy part of town. And I was going to all the parties. There were working for others and doing, all these different things that weren't really filling me up with joy. But, I had the money of traveling, of starting my own business. I was an image consultant then. I was starting an image consultant. And what I realized, all of that. And I love that idea of self-expression, through your appearance, but I wanted something that was a bit of a deeper transformation. So I was struggling with that, and I was working a 9 to 5, and I was learning a lot from this naturopathic doctor. So, life, could have been a lot worse. But deep down inside, I knew that I was meant for more, that I had bigger things ahead of me in life, and I just wasn't really sure how to get there. And so during my image consulting actually training, I was introduced to the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So I don't know if I pronounced that right. I never know. Anyways, The Power of Now. And so I was already starting to implement different ways of making positive changes in my life and thinking positive and trying to be in the moment. And that was about 15 years ago. I've read that book like 8 times now. If you haven't read it, totally read it. Anyways, so I was kind of seeing that sort of thing in my life and maybe how I could become more responsible for my each day today. But anyways, in the meantime, I had gone on this date. So this was when internet dating was first a thing, and I met this guy, and we went out for dinner, and he basically said to me, he was telling me all of his travel stories and all this stuff, and I was like super excited by all of it. And I said to him, man, I wish I could do that. And he's like, yeah, and why can't you? And I was like, well, because I've got life. Like, I got bills to pay. I got this to do. And he's like, yeah, okay. He's like, so it's not that you can't do it. It's that you're not making it a priority. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you're not making it a priority. And I thought, oh my gosh, that just like hit home. And so, I don't know, we finished our date, the subject was changed. I actually never saw him again. I would love to know where this man is now, because he has had such an impact on my life. Because that night I literally went home and I had this revelation. Oh my gosh, you wake up to what you choose. So every morning when you wake up, you're waking up to the result of the decisions that you made the day before. Wild, right? So everything that I do today is going to basically create my tomorrow. And so when I am spending all this money on $400 jeans and, going to all these parties and, even like, you drink tonight, tomorrow you have a hangover. So you're causing the outcome of your following day. And so this is basically, and this is actually what my book is called, that's coming out very soon, is Wake Up to What You Choose. And I suddenly, in that moment, realized that I was the creator of my own life. And it was this wild transformation. And so within the next year, I got rid of my fancy apartment. I got a smaller apartment with 4 roommates, so we didn't have to pay much. And within about, I think it was about 15 months, I had saved up $20,000, booked a trip to Southeast Asia, and Europe and Australia, and had planned this huge thing. So all of a sudden I realized I can do whatever I want to do. And so on this path, I also, I ended up actually living in Thailand. I fell in love with Thailand. So I ended up being there for 5.5 years. In the beginning, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I could stay. So I started looking everywhere. I started teaching myself stuff online. And this is a huge part of what mindfulness training will do, is that it will help with that resiliency, that ability to transform yourself to the environment in a way that will help you achieve what you need to achieve in life. And so anyways, I found ways to make money. I started writing online that people would pay me to write. So through that, I learned about SEO. And soon, I was actually working for a global addiction rehab center based out of Thailand. They gave me my work permit. I had all of that goodness. And I was the content creation and digital marketing manager. And I had my own team and all of this stuff. All of a sudden, oh my gosh. And then I said to them, I don't want to work in the office anymore. And my boss was like, oh, heck no, you're working in the office. So I went into him and I said, I can't do this in the office. I'm not made for 9 to 5. I'm willing to drop my salary in half for the next 3 months, and let's give this a trial period. If you don't like it, if you don't like my work, then we can reassess. Anyways, he told me like 3 weeks later, you are so much more productive this way, because I had created a life that I loved. I was excited to get up in the morning because I got to work from my home and then go about my day however I wanted. So this is what it's about. It's being able to get really clear on yourself and what you need and how you're showing up so that you can create exactly the life that you want. And I'm not saying that everybody wants to go traveling or everybody wants to work remotely. You all have your own goals, ambitions, and dreams in life. And what I'm telling you is that the clarity and the focus and creativity and concentration and awareness that you can actually achieve by doing these mindfulness exercises and becoming able to live in a state of mindfulness, an awareness, is exactly what you need to do in order to up-level your life and to be able to see where you're getting in your own way of creating this life that you love and desire. And so, since all of that, I've done shifts and I eventually came home. I had, during that time when I was working remotely, I traveled all over the place. And I finally decided it's time to come home, be closer to my family, and start the next chapter. And for me, that chapter is really helping others create a life that they love, that other people, are like, wow, you're so lucky. But you know that it wasn't luck. It's about getting clear and getting that awareness so that you can put one foot ahead of the other in a consistent pattern so that you can actually achieve everything that you want in life. Because that's really what it boils down to. Being aware of who you are, being aware of what you need, and then creating that consistent pattern to move yourself forward. And I am just honestly so excited to be able to bring that to others, because I love my life and I don't need a vacation from my life. I love what I'm doing, and whatever that means to you, whatever would create that feeling for you is where I want you to be. And, so this really is the first step, becoming aware of your thoughts and knowing that your thoughts and what you tell yourself each and every day really are the basis of what lies ahead for you. And, I actually went through about a year of really, really intense anxiety, where every day I was just so anxious, like debilitating. Like I couldn't go to the grocery store. I would sometimes leave my products on the conveyor belt because I didn't want to have to deal with the, what do you call that person? Cashier. I didn't want to deal with the cashier. And so I would actually just leave them and run out of the store. So that was huge for me. And that was about a year of my life where I really, wasn't able to push as far ahead. And all of a sudden one day I was like, Candace, mindfulness, that is exactly what's going to get you out of this. Being aware of your thoughts, shifting those thoughts and creating new and more positive thoughts that are going to actually allow you to be the person that you need to be and create the life that you deserve and desire. And so that is really what I wanted to share with you today. And unfortunately, I can't see comments right now live. So what I'm going to, I know this is going to be on my page. So as you watch this, just, comment underneath if you have questions, and I will get in there and I will answer them. And then hopefully this little glitch is going to be worked out for video number 2, which happens on Tuesday. And something I completely forgot to mention. Okay, wait, no, back up. So Tuesday, we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into the actual methods of, how we are actually working against ourselves, and then how we can learn to work for ourselves instead. So we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into that neuroscience, why this is happening, and how we can pull ourselves out of that. And we are also going to, I'm going to share a couple of different exercises so you guys can get started on this journey already. And so something that I forgot to mention at the beginning is that I'm going to be sharing with you some bonus words. And the first one for this video is fried potatoes. Fried potatoes, like as if you were to eat those for breakfast. That's what the first word is. So write that down, keep that down somewhere, because the grand prize at the end of this video series is actually a 45-minute laser coaching session with myself, where we're going to get really clear on what's holding you back in your business right now, or holding you back from starting your business right now. And we're going to get super clear on that and allow you to leave with action steps to move forward. So that's really fun. So by the end of the video, I'm going to give you a word in each video. And then at the end of the video series, I'm going to let you know how you can submit those words to be entered to win the laser coaching session. And I'm also going to give away a couple of free copies of my book, which is not finished yet, but that will be soon. So you will get your name down. So as soon as that book is ready, I will be shipping that out to you. So that is wildly exciting, in my opinion. So for now, just to end this off, I'm going to invite you all to just enlighten me, allow me to go through this exercise with you. And so I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes right now. And I want you to imagine your success, whatever that means to you. So whether it's that next level in your business, whether it's starting your business, whether it means getting your business to a place where you're at financial freedom, or so you can travel where you want or do whatever you want, whether it means buying a house. I don't know what success looks like for you, but whatever it is that you're working on, whatever project that you want to see be wildly successful, I want you to imagine what that success looks like right now. And I want you to think about the moment that you know you will have been successful. So if being successful for you means being able to quit your 9 to 5 and be solely responsible for your income with your business, when will you know that you've achieved that? What is that moment? Is it when you give your notice to work? Is it the first day that you're working at home from your laptop and you don't have that other job? Or success for you, is it the first time you make $100,000 in your business? Whatever that is, I want you to know exactly when you will know that you have succeeded. And then I want you to dive deep inside of your body and see what you see, hear what you hear, and feel what you will feel in that moment when you know that you have achieved this success that you're looking for. What do you see? What do you hear? And how does it feel for you? And I want you to really play around with that image. I want you to jump out of that image so that you can see yourself in the image. So you're no longer looking through your own eyes. You're stepping outside of yourself and you're seeing yourself in that image. What are you doing? How does it feel? What are you saying? Anything. Get it as vivid as possible. And really feel how that feels for you. Oh, all right. So I'm not sure where I cut off on there. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so my apologies on there. I will actually do a recording of that and send that with the replay of this. Anyways, I wanted you to leave with a feeling of that success. And so I will give you all, if you haven't signed up yet for the live launch, or so for the rest of the video series, then I will encourage you to sign up. I'm just writing this in the chat box for the rest of the videos here. And so you can sign up, and with that, you'll get a full replay of this, and I'm going to give you guys a recording of that exercise I just tried to take you guys through. So anyhow, I hope I hope you'll join for the rest of the two. So again, on Tuesday, we're going to dive a little bit deeper, going to give you some more things to work through. And then I'm also, so make sure you check your email. I've got a couple of things that I want you to work through as we go through this video series, just so you can see already the power that can be with these practices and how we can become more mindful and aware as we go through. So I'm excited to see you guys on Tuesday. Sorry for the technical difficulties here, but I am so excited to see you again on Tuesday. I will figure out whatever is happening with my emails so that everybody can get the emails and everybody knows when that next video is. So I appreciate all of you so much for being here, and I'm excited to answer any of your questions. So I also, I did create a Facebook group, so make sure you're in the Facebook group. If you're catching the replay, it's in the bottom below. Hop into that Facebook group and we can discuss. I'll be in there to answer questions and talk about anything that you really want to dive deeper into. So thank you so much for being here. Again, fried potatoes is the word. You can win a 45-minute laser coaching session with myself so that you can start getting out of your own way and taking those action steps that you need. So hopefully I will see you all there. I will get the emails working, and I'm excited to continue on this journey with everyone. Thank you.